Anyway, so one night, I think it was either January or February. It was dead of winter. It was below zero, single digits below zero. I think it was 8 below, as I recall. And we get dispatched to a group home with an alarm sounding. Okay, so, and this isn't uncommon. I mean, like literally, I was the captain on a ladder truck that night, and we're going to the call, and it was like 2:00 in the morning. So we'd gotten woke up to go to the call. So I'm like rubbing the sleepies out of my eye. I'm literally like, my coat's buttoned, but my SCBA air pack isn't all the way on in the seat. And I'm waiting for the first arriving unit to show up and cancel us because I'm like, this is total BS. A resident of the group home got up to pee and then is like, you know what? Click, I'm going to pull the alarm because this happened all the time.
Happens all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're on our way to this call and I hear the first arriving captain give a size up, basically nothing showing. And I'm like, yep, I'm going to go back to closing my eyes as we're driving there, you know? And then all of a sudden on the radio, I hear the captain, who is normally very chill, say, "We've got fire." And I'm like, well, that's not normal for him. Right. So I sat straight up in my seat, got all my buckles tightened and told my guys, hey, why are your shit tight? You know? And we roll up on the scene in a cul-de-sac of a group home with fire rolling out the front door. And the lady she was the night group home manager, standing outside, and there's a hose line running into the building. And the first thing that she tells me when I walk up to her, she's this look horror on her face. And I can still remember, it's one of those few things that's indelibly printed on your hard drive. And she looks right at me with fear in her eyes and she said, they're all still in there. Oh. And I'm like, holy crap, tonight's the night, you know? And so my firefighter and I she said, go left, go to the left, go to the left. So we go to the left and we've got smoke banked down about, I don't know, about 3 feet of visibility. So it's a really awkward thing. You don't have to crawl, but if you stand up, you can't see. So you're doing like this modified duck walk. And we're kind of following this other hose line that's already been pulled in there by the first arriving engine company. And then things get all black and smoky and we can't see. And we kind of fight our way into this room and there's not very much fire. I mean, we like put a little bit of water on fire and we're like, what the hell's going on here? And then as soon as you put water on fire, you get steam. Right. And it's dark out anyway and you can't see anything. So we're shining our flashlight and we're digging through this big debris pile. I mean, there'd already been some kind of a collapse. And we're like, what is going on? So I'm digging through this debris pile. I find a captain's helmet from the fire department. And I'm like, what just happened, right? So at that time, we only had one radio frequency. Everything else was on maintenance. So we have one radio frequency, and they're dispatching a medical call on that frequency right then. And so I'm trying to get out with a mayday, like, hey, mayday, mayday, mayday. You know, potentially we have a guy down. But they're dispatching a medical, so my firefighter's digging through the debris, trying to see, okay, so one of a few things has happened here, okay? The crew before us suffered some kind of catastrophic problem and they're buried, or they had some kind of a minor, very minor issue. The captain lost his helmet and they're standing outside right now and he's going, where's my damn helmet, right? And so I can't get a mayday call out. Super frustrating. We dig around, can't find anything. I grab the helmet. I go, let's get back outside. So we book it back outside and that captain's standing there with no helmet. So I toss him his helmet and then the group home lady, she goes, no, you have to go to the right.
Oh.
So by the time that I talked to her, somebody else had swooped our line. So our hose line's gone. And I'm like, okay, this is one of the rare instances where it's like, all right, the hose line protects you. Yeah. So if you're crawling around looking for smoke and fire and you find it, you have something to put it out with. But the less obvious thing, if you're not a firefighter, is that it's also your lifeline back out.
Right, you follow it out.
Yeah, you can turn right back around and follow it out if the smoke conditions get bad.
It's going to a truck.
Right. You just got to follow it back out. So I look at this guy that was my firefighter and I'm like, hey, there's no lines and no time, let's go. So we went searching without a line. So we're crawling down the hallway, feeling on the wall to keep ourselves oriented. So we're doing a right hand search. We're up against the wall with our right shoulder and our right hands, and we find a doorway. It's an actual doorway, not a piece of art. We crawl into this room, and I tell him, I just said, you go high, I'll go low. And I went low under the bed because people will often pop under the beds. I'm doing a sweep under the bed, and he's like, hey man, I got one. And pop up, and there's one of the residents of the home is in that bed, and eyes wide open, scared to death. And and the two of us grabbed him, went outside, and then it was rinse and repeat. There was another crew there doing work, and there was 4 people that got taken out. Two that were able to walk out under their own power, and then 4 people that were taken out. All of them were miraculously okay. So despite crazy weather conditions and a lot of things that could have gone wrong or could really went against us, that night it all went right. And it was a cool opportunity for our crew because nobody with any sense of self or any sense of humility says, I did that. No, none of us did that. We did it. You know what I mean? We had the opportunity because there's firefighters in busy systems all over the world that never get the chance to do that in their career. Yeah. And Great Falls Fire Rescue is no joke, man. I mean, if you're stationed downtown at Station 1, you'll run on a 24-hour shift. You'll go out the door on 15 to 20 calls, which is a lot of freaking calls in 24 hours because those guys are spending their time. If it's industry-wide, we call that a BS call. I mean, if you roll out on a BS call, I mean, from the time that you leave the station to the time that you realize that, hey, this person has a stub toe or a sore throat.
It's just a cat in a tree. We're good. We can go back.
I've had a few of those.
That's the consummate cop joke.
Oh yeah. It's funny being on the other side now, but by the time you roll out, go to the BS call, sort out the fact that that's what it is.
Right.
Come back, and everything generates paper, as you know.
Oh yeah.
And you knock out the report and try to do some training or something productive in the meantime, and then go on another one. Those guys are as busy as any fire department in the country. Those guys downtown.
Oh, I would agree.
So yeah, they do really good work. So
no, I totally agree. I mean, I think Great Falls Fire. I take Great Falls Fire Rescue over any fire department around. And I mean, it's not that I haven't been around other fire departments.
Right.